Morning. It's a little brisk this morning. It is a Sunday, which is going to make sense to you shortly when I talk about what we're doing today. We are in my hometown of Ottawa, and we found out yesterday that we're going to be here a little longer because Buddy needs surgery. If you've seen the previous videos, you know that Buddy is a rescue and he came to me with a few problems. His two front legs had been broken, which is why he came into rescue. Then his third leg I had operated on last summer before we became Vanlifers. And that's basically kind of bad breeding. His kneecaps are wonky. So we did the last surgery last summer, and he needs his fourth leg operated on. So yeah, so Buddy's had a bit. So the surgery is July 16th. This is now early June, and it's one of the worst springs that Ottawa has experienced in a long time. So because it's Sunday and I'm trying to create structure around my life and take a day off, because people who do videos like this and who appreciate your subscriptions, we tend to work 7 days a week. We're always shooting, we're always editing, and I'm trying to, although now that I say that, I realize I'm shooting and editing today, but we try to take, Buddy and I try to take Sundays as a time to regroup. So we're doing some serious regrouping today because there are a lot of systems on the vehicle that after 9 months, wow, it's 9 months today, actually, of being on the road, there are certain things that were not working for us. So we're going to do a few projects today because we're at a campsite that has power, doesn't have water, but water is near here, but it does have power. So we can, I say we, Buddy's not going to do anything. So couple things, van life, big conversation for people in van life is I changed my toilet solution because it wasn't working for me, and I'm going to talk about that. Also, it's cold. It's only 6 degrees Celsius right now, but this week looks like the turnaround. As you know, in Ottawa, it's going to go from early spring cold to 29 degrees Celsius in the next 48 hours. So there's going to be a lot of changes there. So just spending today addressing the toilet situation and setting up our new solution. When it gets warm, the mosquitoes are going to come out in full force. Not a problem we had to deal with in the desert or on the California coast or in drier parts of Texas, but I need a solution to that because I like to keep 2 of the doors open. So I'm going to fix that, but the other thing I'm going to fix is the reason why I don't want to have the doors open, closed, is that it wears down the car battery. And for the second time on this trip with the brand new battery, it wears it down. And if I'm not paying attention to starting the car once a day for sure. So I have a new contraption that I ordered that I'm going to show you. A lot of you probably have it. I did not. So I was relying on the goodness of strangers to jump my car. So that's something that we're going to do. Also, the up top storage. I had extra space up there, but I hadn't quite figured out how to keep the things like this new mosquito tent, the mat, and a couple other things up there. So what was happening is every time I drove, I had to put all this stuff inside on top of the bed. And, yet I had this spot on the roof rack. And so I have a $19 solution for that, which I have to perfect today because I tried it out and there's just a couple of things about it that I want to tweak, because the last thing that you want is your tent flying off your roof. So I'm going to do that. Also, I have to do a little bit of downsizing in that I have done what I think invariably is a van life thing, is that you start to accumulate stuff because you think you need it, and then you realize you don't need the old stuff, or the new stuff isn't quite working as well. So I'm not going to show you the shot right now, but I have literally exploded all of the contents of my vehicle onto a picnic table here. And I don't really need this mosquito tent right now, because the mosquitoes don't even want to come out in this cold weather, but it's going to happen within the next 24 to 48 hours. So I wanted to get the tent up, which I have figured out how to put up myself, because it's big, how to put up myself without hurting myself. Because if you've been following along, you know I have some injuries that I have to work around. So, oh, and then there was a bin, a foldable bin, which is important for all of my camera gear, but I was very specific about what I wanted. I ordered it because I want it to sit on the front seat so that Buddy's safety bed, which has his harness and his seatbelt, can just sit on top of it. And all of that space underneath Buddy's bed was not being used effectively. So that's what we're doing today. And thanks for joining, keeping us company, and please subscribe. We are so close to monetization that it's really helpful for us. And all of the money is going to go to Ottawa Dog Rescue. Well, sorry, I want to be really honest about this. The first check is going to go to Ottawa Dog Rescue, where I got Buddy, and then future checks will be related to the communities that we travel around, because our next step is to go to the west coast of Canada. And so when we make money from YouTube, we're going to be helping dogs who, like Buddy, have had a rough ride. And even though he does have this surgery on July 16th, he doesn't have any more legs. He's had all four repaired. So yeah, we take this very seriously. And so if you help us get to 1,000 people, we're at 890, then we can start sharing some of the money from telling his story with other rescue organizations. So in addition to that, I'm going to show you some of the things that are going to make life a whole lot easier when you travel in an SUV. So what I'm going to do is I eventually will be trading this vehicle in, hopefully, for a van when the insurance settlement happens. So I want to put it on the glass, because then I can always use, you can see I've tried to stick things to the glass before, but what I want to do is put it on the glass so I can use something like Goo Gone to eventually clean it off. So the strip is going to go on the glass right about there, and then I will be able to hang the curtain. Now, it's not the warmest of days, and I'm imagining that it would be better on a day that was warmer, but I don't have that kind of patience. So I'm just going to start putting the Velcro tape up here, and I'm actually using the lines of the, I guess, ice melting to put it up there. So it's going to stick, hopefully. She says hopefully. And then I'm going to, I won't bore you with the details, so I'll turn the camera off, but then I'm just going to like really keep pressing it to make sure that it's attached. I also got these gloves at Dollarama for $2. Um, I'm using them because this stuff's pretty rough, obviously, and this just makes smoothing it out and making sure that it sticks a little easier than running your bare fingers along this stuff. This one here is to put the windshield part up, but I'm hoping I can kind of do double duty because, as I said, it sometimes falls down. So this way I can use both strips to be more effective. Okay, so now this screen, I want it to be centered, obviously, is going to stick on that, we hope. And oh, it's sticking pretty well, actually. And then we'll kind of work on making it a little more secure on either side. I have some clamps, which I might use, but this doesn't weigh very much. Oh, I don't really have it centered. Oh, that's a problem. But we can fix that. It's just Velcro. All right. One more adjustment. I have it a little bit longer on one side than I had intended, but you know, live and learn. All right, so we're gonna pull it tight. My hope is that this part will just stay up there and that I will just open them, obviously, for the ability to see out the back. You can see how the magnets just reattach like that. So I'm hoping that eventually when the door is closed, I'll just move it to the side. But, you know, again, this one I got and it was $10 and it came with all the Velcro, which the one at the dollar, I think it was Dollarama or Dollar Store, had. So that's up, and now we're going to try adjusting the sides. Okay, well, design isn't always perfect, but here's what I have figured out is you don't want the mosquitoes coming in there into your vehicle. So when I'm set up, I can just sort of like scrunch it a little bit. And then I also got these clamps at Dollarama. I think I got 4 for $2. And then what I can do is use these to keep it in place as much as I can on either side of this hole. Mosquitoes are smart little buggers. And then I just use the clamps to kind of just use the mechanism of the car to attach it. They're not the best clamps, honestly. One of them already broke. And then it's going to be a little too narrow. But it has these clips built into it, which I can kind of use, but it's better than nothing, right? So I'll show you the finished product in just a second. Okay, well, we're not going for perfection, but I have these. So I've got this piece of string because the clips obviously don't reach all the way across. So this little piece of string is going to go into, I have these cargo bolts in the back. So I just need to lengthen it by, I'm going to say about 6 inches. So I'm just going to make a loop with this string. And then these snaps will now have enough length that I can bolt it on this side. Actually, I made the string a little too long, but no problem. The great thing about string, just tie another knot and you're good. And so that cargo bolt will be used to hold it in place. So, I've been in the desert. There are some windy days. So that's project one for this Sunday. And I did use the clamps on either side just to keep it tucked in there so that the mosquitoes don't get around it. But of course, the sides open a little bit. But again, perfection is not something that we're always looking for out here. Okay, so we're making progress. So this is the fridge that when I have the ability in a campsite to plug in, I use as a fridge, and I use it as a cooler when I'm boondocking or somewhere that I don't have power. So I'm able to use this magnet system to open up the back door, access my fridge, get anything out, and then the magnets I think I have it a little too tight because the magnet's usually on the side door. Whoops, just reclip. I might have to loosen it a little bit. See how yeah, I'm gonna have to loosen it. Because they just normally reclip themselves just like that. So I gotta tweak it a little bit, and the clamp needs to not be as tight. There you go. Okay, project one on a Sunday. Done. Now we move on to other things. The side door obviously works a whole lot better, but again, this is the one that I got at Dollarama, and I didn't want to put tape on the outside of my vehicle, so I just use these magnets, and then I take them down, fold this up, and again, this is, when the magnets just reclip. Magic. On the next episode, the thing that RVers and van lifers love to talk about and nobody else does. Toilets. I've had 3. I like the most recent one.